All right, it's live. It's live right now. All right, what up, everybody? So this podcast is different. I'm here with a good friend, brother, um, and we're gonna talk about just depression, perspective, and just mindset. And yeah, man. And I hope it's a blessing. When I was depressed, it was because I perceived life a certain way. The problem was not people are not responding to my text messages. The problem was, why is my highest goal in life to get a text message answered? You know what I'm saying? Why did I have no goals? So the power of even setting goals helped me so much, and it keeps me focused on what matters. You know what I mean? Because so many things that if we had, 1 hour to live, couple minutes to live, it no longer matters who's not responsive, who's not this, who's not that. Because when we die, we have to stand before God and answer to the things that we failed to do or the things we did correctly. And it's no longer about other people. But anyways, and it was all about me when I was depressed, and me setting a standard that other people have to meet for me to be okay. And I'm just, so now that I know what that is and why it was that way, I know how to never get into that trap again. It's just a liberating feeling. And yeah, and I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah, no, it's just about the goal settings,
Yeah.
I think that, apart from depression, when you begin to set goals, you can actually see where you're at,
Yeah.
physically, emotionally, as you begin to fail, and then you can see the need for growth. But the depression thing, I've been there as well, suicidal and just crazy, but it's your perspective, Jesus teaches us, to focus on him. And even, unsaved, unborn again, don't know God, it's still you become what you focus on.
Yeah.
And not only what you focus on, but your perspective of the focus. Because two people could look at the same thing, one have a negative one, and the other one have a positive one. Just like that picture.
Yeah.
Well, that's not positive or negative, but they're seeing two different things. So
from two sides.
Yeah. So, the glass can be half full or half empty. And, and it takes a process to train yourself to be like that,
Yeah.
In my opinion. I didn't come out of it overnight.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's crazy, the half glass full, half glass empty thing. It's crazy how the same glass, the same amount measurement could mean two different things to two different people. If you see half empty, you only see scarcity. You see what you don't have, and that's what you're quick to see. And that translates to when you meet people, you're quick to see what they don't have or what qualities you think they should have that they don't, and you'll become negative towards every person you meet. I saw this quote. It was like, what did it say? It was like, I forget it, but it was a really good one. But if it comes to my memory, I'll say it. But it was like, it was something like, if you meet somebody with bad qualities and you don't express it to other people, like, here's a test of your goodness. Like, whether you're willing to spread all their negative to like everybody else and just broadcast it, you know what I mean? Like, here's a test of your goodness. Can you know what I mean? But I forgot, it was another part to it as well. It was a good quote though. But yeah, man. I knew a lot of people that they had, they had a lot of things that other people wish they had. You might have problems that people wish they had your problems, because your problems from their perspective, it's like not, you know what I mean? You're worrying about when are you going to get a wife. Someone's worrying about, when are they going to eat, And then there's someone that wishes they could eat because their stomach doesn't even process the food completely. Or there's someone that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're complaining about not having a car. Someone wishes they had a bike. And then a person with a bike, a person that's, immobile. Yeah, a person on a wheelchair is like, man, I wish I could just walk. This person could go anywhere. Like, so it just depends, man. And for me, like, when I used to complain, I wasn't adaptable. Now that I'm adaptable, like, complaining just goes out the window, man. I just used to get mad at obstacles being in my way, instead of going around it, going through it, under it, or over it, and it just made me so weak to just complain. Because life doesn't care that you have a problem with the obstacles that are placed before you. You know what I'm saying? Like, the obstacle doesn't care that you're mad at it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, are you gonna adapt? You know what I'm saying? Like a sailor, you as a sailor, you don't have the right to get mad at the ocean for being the ocean, for there being rough waves. It's like, yo, be a better sailor, then you won't have to worry about sinking every boat you get into. So yeah, man, just things like that, man. I stopped trying to change people, because that was a big one. I met a lot of women. I met a lot of women that said, yo, why does it feel like you're always trying to change me or lecture me or be my dad or say this or, and I didn't see it that way. I thought I was trying to help, but it was just too much pressure on them being something, and then them dealing with the backlash of, like me saying stuff like, oh, you don't listen or this or that. And instead of just giving space to people to be what they prefer to be, because whatever a person prefers to be, for the most part, that's what they're going to do anyways. And it's like, if I sit there and have a heart attack over it every time, it just puts me in a bad place. And then I become unedifying towards the person, because it's all about me, you know what I'm saying? Even though the change is about them, but it does something for me, you know what I mean? Like when people, when people push an agenda on you, there's nothing wrong with giving advice, but when you're so stern on the person following you, and then you talk to them like they're crap just because they won't, you might not even realize, they're not in the mental space where they could receive your advice. Now is not the time, and I'm not saying now is not the time for you to give them the advice, but they're not in the mental space to take your advice and use it to better their life. You know what I mean? Because old habits die hard. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that overcomes habit is a new habit. You know what I'm saying? So like me, like masturbation, terrible habit. Like I've done that at least 10,000, 12,000 times in my life. The only way to overcome that is find a new habit. You know what I'm saying? Something that's better, worth my time to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, so I don't know.
And I think there has to be a desire there,
Yeah, to change. Yeah.
to change. But at the same time, even the Spirit of God is real. It says that, He says, "My people perish because of the lack of understanding." So it's not knowing something that leads us in that failed state of mind or whatever lifestyle. And I think that the more that we know things and apply things, change will come. Because even, those times in my life where I was addicted to, lifestyles, I couldn't change on my own. But I began to, ask and seek God and began to change my heart in that type of light. But a lot of things, was a process for me, But at the same time, the perspective thing is key, I need same thing with the sailing guy. The things that we go through will either make us or break us. If everything is about how you want it to go, and you can't look past that, you're going to be miserable. But if you can understand that everything that you've been through, the hardest things in your life has made you who you are today, and if you can keep that perspective for the future, one, you'll gain wisdom, and two, you'll gain inner strength where things no longer break you. Bad things happen, and you receive them, and you're still in peace. And then you can voluntarily engage in hard things in life, and it not affect you. You're not emotionally a mess.
Yeah.
I remember I used to flip out over the littlest thing. Want to fight
Yeah.
over silly things, but the hardest things I went through in my life, has made me that person.
Man. Thank God for the hard.
Yeah, for real. Like really though,
Yeah.
because a lot of times, God is trying to produce something in your spirit, but and it's challenging to your flesh. It's a very hectic situation. It's pressing, and a lot of times we run. We let our flesh lead us, and we run away from what the Spirit is trying to do in us. Because I judge everything by the natural. But even and when it comes to other people, I can't let other people no longer dictate my future. People. I was listening to somebody, and he was saying, I no longer let, I used to lose sleep over liars lying, but liars lie. You know what I'm saying? You have to accept that, and then accept them for who they are. Don't try to change them, but just love them.
Yeah. And one way to not be negative towards that is if you just know that at any moment they can change, they can become the best or make steps towards becoming the best version of themselves, because nobody is a complete project. You know what I mean? Everyone's a work in progress. So all the people that you do see that do mediocre things, you know what I mean? Here's one thing I learned. Oh, it's gonna rain soon, pretty soon. I felt a couple drops, but one thing I learned, cause like,
I got my bike out there.
yeah, we gotta move that right now. Nah, it'll be okay, right?
Probably, yeah.
one thing I learned, there was three people that I hated in my life, like a lot. It was my stepdad, my brother, and an old roommate. And I realized it was okay. I realized it was qualities that they shared that I hated. It wasn't the individual. You know what I'm saying? Like if you take your hate for a person personally, you'll think that it's the person. But it's like when one person does something that you can't stand, just imagine like 4,000 other people doing that one thing. You wouldn't be able to stand it either. So it's not the person, it's what they do, you know? And if the way they think changed, then what they do would change as well, you know? So give me 1 second, because it's like rain. You want me to put your cup inside? It's raining in your cup. All right, got you.
Right.
My bad, y'all. Give me 1 second. So yeah, man. Anyways, yeah, it started raining. I had to go inside. Yeah, when one of the prayers that I made recently, well, as of the last like 6 months, just praying for adversity, praying for problematic situations, praying that problems to occur that forces me to respond, make a choice. Either I'm going to respond the way Jesus would, or the way a typical man would, you know what I mean? And it's just it's for me, like it's a challenge that I enjoy, because if I respond the way a man would, typical man, then it just shows me I have more growing to do, you know, mentally. I have more maturing to do, you know what I mean? I would literally pray to meet people that are annoying, to meet people that are messed up, to meet people that are, you know what I mean? So that I could try to find the good in these people, try to find good qualities in them, and talk them into their greatness, because I believe every human has greatness in them. And when I meet mediocre people, if all I see is their mediocrity, I'll never be able to call them towards what they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was listening to this guy talk. He said, you got to be careful the metaphors you use to describe people, because, you know, Hitler, when he put everybody in those concentration camps, he considered them rodents, pests, you know, rats, roaches. Like, you know, like, what do you do with those type of things besides exterminate them? You know, he didn't even see them as human beings. And that's why he believes that they were worthy of punishment or death, or, you know what I'm saying, just wiping them all out, because he doesn't perceive them as having value, as having greatness, as, you know, he sees them as, oh, if you were born into this heritage or religion or whatever, you know what I'm saying, then this is what I think of you because of that. Like, you know, and there was no vision in him. Like, he was incapable of seeing them the way that God sees them, you know, because like the people that drive you crazy, I'm sure they don't drive God crazy. They might drive you up a wall, you know, but God is like, yo, like, how come you don't love these people the way I do? It's because you don't see them the same way I do. You only see them for how annoying they are to you. And I see them for what they were created to be. You know what I mean? Huge difference. And when you start seeing people for what they were created to be, which in my opinion is everyone's created to be great, loving, compassionate, you know, you might say, yo, well, it's hard to see that in somebody when that's not what they're being at the moment. You know, which means you only see somebody for face value, which means your vision is limited, you know, because a lot of, people change, man. I know people don't believe that, but just because someone's a jerk or whatever, manipulative, controlling, doesn't mean they'll always be that. You know what I mean? Like, there's always grace, you know, that could empower them to change. A lot of it depends on the individual as well, because, you know, God won't make anybody change. So, you know, it's all up to you ultimately. If you just, all you got to do is just want to change, you know, and then change becomes possible to you. You know, I meet so many people. I had a friend message me the other day. The next podcast I'll do about this topic specifically, but friend was like, man, I envy you and your mindset. Wish I could think like that. It's like, you can, you know, just stop thinking like you, like, you know, find mentors that think the way you want to think, talk the way you want to talk, and consume their content. Yeah, like, that's all I did, man. Like, you know, and, people are like, you know, I don't know if they think that I'm oversimplifying things, but there's so many things in life that are much more simpler than how your mind complicates it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there will be people that it's like, man, I want to date this person, but I don't know, man. And it's like, oh, it's not complicated. You know, your spirit already told you what you should do. Just follow that. You know, life is simple. The only thing that makes it complicated is when emotions get in the way, and you choose that over following your intuition, your heart, you know what I'm saying, what your heart tells you to do. So, yeah, man. Anyways, Yeah, so I'm just, I'm definitely in a much better place, but I still have a lot of growing to do. You know what I'm saying? There's so many people that they don't even get to like 45% of what they were created to be. You know what I'm saying? Let alone 30, let alone 15. I'd be wondering if you could put a percentage on it, how many of us are living out what we really could be, And yeah, it's just, it's crazy to think about it. So many things get in the way. There's a way that seems right to a man that it indoctrinates us into believing that that's the way it should be. Like when someone doesn't respond to your texts for 4 days, you feel justified in giving them a piece of your mind. It's because your needs are not met. It's like, but why are you such a needs driven person that you have to put such pressure on someone's calendar and schedule that they have to respond to you 10 minutes after you sending the text message? Because if not, you're not okay. You know what I'm saying? Which means you'll never be okay, because all you got to do is, okay, let's say the person that you're mad at that does that, they stop doing that. They return all your text messages on time. It only takes one person to come around that doesn't, for you to be in the same emotional state you was in when that other person that you feel like violated you, doing that. So I don't know, man, just, I talk about expectations so much because that's the root cause of so many heartbreaks. You know what I'm saying? All the times I've been heartbroken, these people didn't break my heart. I really believe that. I believe I broke my heart several times, but no girl did it to me several times. It was always me expecting something and not receiving, and having an issue with what's not being received, as if these people wake up to please me. No one's alive to serve me. You know what I mean? Now that I talk to myself like that, like, yo, who the hell am I to think that you're alive to serve me, that you're alive to return my text, that you're alive to, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, you have a schedule, man. Like, you're busy, So if I call somebody, they don't respond, maybe they're playing video games. Maybe they're doing something. Maybe they're doing something that they consider more worth their time than answering my phone call. And although maybe, you might fall into a place where you think people should answer your calls, you got to ask yourself, yo, how important am I that I think you should just drop everything to talk to me? You know what I mean? And that you think that people should prioritize you over what they got going on. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they're doing stuff, We put such pressure on people to, when they don't respond to us, that they have to explain why. I never do that to any of my friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, I got some of the best friendships I have. If 2 years pass and we don't speak, it doesn't matter what happened in the last 2 years, unless they want to talk about it. But I put no pressure on where you've been. I've been worried, this, and that. It's like, bro, you've been, you're alive now. I could cry that I ain't talked to you for 2 years, or I could rejoice that you're still alive and we could talk now and move forward. Like, there's so many people in this world that, you'll miss one phone call, right? Or you'll miss somebody's phone call. On the very next phone call, they're like, yo, but how come you missed my last one? It's like, yo, does it matter? We could talk now. Or you could, so it's just perspective, man. Like, and you know why that matters? Because people communicate to themselves that matters. It matters why you haven't answered my call for 20 minutes, So when you allow things to matter, then what matters most, and, you'll allow that to, you know what I'm saying? And then it's just, like I said, goal setting is so important, man. And when you set huge goals and you allow nothing to matter more than your goals and the things that you feel like you have to do in this world before leaving, then you stop caring about who's not responding to you, who's not loving you, who's not, and you start realizing that you can't prioritize yourself in someone's life. Like, they decide what you're worth to them, not you. You know what I'm saying? Like, people be like, oh, but I give you this much, and you give me this little love in return. It's like, bro, what do you think? Doing things for a person makes them love you? Like, you could do everything for a person and they don't love you. And then you could do nothing for a person and they still love you. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if you think that, I don't know, man, I just see a lot. I see it a lot. I see people trying to buy things for other people, trying to win favor, trying to, come on, bro. And it's like, I had somebody try to do that for me. And I was like, bro, if you think I respect you more after you buy me a lot of stuff, keep your items, bro. Like, you think I like you more as a person because you did something kind for me? Yeah, cool, nice. You did something kind for me. But I see I see the motivation of why you're doing it. Like, you want to feel like, you want to say, oh, thanks, you shouldn't have, or I really appreciate you. You like the feeling of being appreciated. So when you buy a gift, you got to ask yourself, yo, are you buying a gift? Is it for the person or the gratification you feel giving it and the sensation you get giving the gift? Because really, it's like, you might as well buy the gift for yourself, like, it's indirectly for you, but you won't say that, So I was watching this video. A guy was like, when it's Christmas time, how come we buy gifts for people? And then they'd be like, they don't really like it. And then you start crying like, oh, I spent so much. I waited in line. And it's like, yo, I thought the gift was for them. If the gift was for them, get back in line and go get them what they actually want. If it's for them, but it must be for you. And that's why you're crying, like, because you didn't get the emotional response you wanted to get high off of, So, so yeah, man. Anyways, so yeah, man, perspective determines everything, how you feel. I meet so many people that think they can't control their emotions, but that's because they don't believe they could ever change their perspective. You change your perspective, your emotions will change, because what you feel is in direct correlation to how you perceive, And if you perceive everything negatively, then no wonder why you have negative emotions, Then no wonder why everything bothers you. No wonder why, I know this one vegan dude, all he does is say, man, meat eaters are so stupid. When are people going to stop eating meat? When are people going to, I'm like, bro, they're going to stop doing it when they feel like it. Like, not when you think they should. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the hugest issues that we have. Thinking that people should stop when we think it's time for them, as if we decide other people's schedules and when it's time to change and have a revelation and have a new perspective. And it's like, there's so many things that are not up to you, So that's why I really like the serenity prayer, which is like, God, teach me the difference between what's within my control and what's not, and the wisdom to know the difference, because sometimes we try to fix things that are outside of control, and what's within our control, we just never fix. You know what I mean? Like, we try to work on other people becoming the best version of them, and then we're a mess. You know what I mean? And then you wonder why no one will take your advice, because they don't respect how you live. Like, you might be giving good advice, but they're like, yeah, but look at who it's coming from. Some person I don't admire. So what makes you think, you know what I mean? Just little stuff like that, And so, yeah, man. So now I try to spend a lot of my time really trying to become the best version of me. And now if I give advice, it has somewhere to land because of the respect that people have for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw this one guy, he said, it's going to sound conceited, but he was like, yo, I'm chasing admiration, not because I'm insecure and I desperately need people to like me. But he says, once you admire me, you give me permission to speak life into your life. And that's what I want to be able to help you. So I need you to admire me before I could help you. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of Christians, they'd act weird about that. Like, oh, he wants glory. He wants this. And it's like, nah, he wants to change people's life, and he understands the methods for doing so. So it's not because he's insecure, not because the same guy is different video. There was a woman came up to him with a bag of bullets, and she started crying, and he instantly knew what she was trying to say. She's like, these are the bullets that I was going to take my own life with. And she explained to him, your content, your positive nature saved my life watching your content. You know what I mean? And, and that's why he chases, admiration for stuff like that. But, there's definitely a lot of people that chase it for other reasons, just so they could feel good about themselves. Because unless they're being admired by others, they don't feel admirable. They don't feel like loved. They don't feel, you know what I'm saying? So it just, motive. That's another one, like sometimes I think the worst form of deception is lying to yourself, man. When you know how many terrible people convince themselves they're good people, like, you know what I mean? And it's like, but and they'd be like, oh, I'm good because I give to the poor. It's like, bro, but what about this part of your life, bro? Like, and it's, so I don't know, bro, like, and these people, they have potential, to be much better than what they are. But sometimes we over amplify what we think is good, and we under amplify things that need to be exposed and changed. And we don't want to come. There was this girl that I used to talk to her, and I said, yo, every time I talk to you about the past, you never let me. And she says, I know I've been a bad person to you. I know I did some messed up things. I don't like talking to about the past because, like, she was like, I realize how much of a shitty, messed up person I am. And she says, I don't like, I don't like seeing it, I don't like hearing it. So she realized that she was doing messed up things, but she doesn't like having that conversation because she doesn't want to, she doesn't want to associate that with her character. She wants to see just the good, maybe, so, but anyways, so yeah, I said a lot. I don't know if my homie wants to add anything, but, so yeah, man, I'm much happier, man. I'm with somebody now that's seen a lot of the growth, and he says, man, it's good to see you change. It's good to see you grow, and just things that you learned and stuff. And, he's known me when I used to complain every day. And I didn't understand what complaining about others did to me. It messes my day up. When I realized what I was doing to myself doing that, I was like, yeah, I got to stop. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm complaining about someone that cares nothing about my complaints, because they're going to do them regardless. You know what I mean? Like, if you think complaining about people changes them, it's gonna change them. You're wrong. It changes you. You know, it puts you in a mood you don't want to be in. And meanwhile, while you're complaining, people are just like, they're like, okay, well, I don't care what you think of me because I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad it annoys you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I know this one Christian dude that I think he told someone they're going to hell, right? This is how little people care about your opinion, right? I'm gonna show you. He was like, yo, you're gonna go to hell if you don't change. I don't know if the person was atheist, but he said, good, I hope I go to hell. At least judgmental Christians like you won't be there. I hope I'm in hell so I could be away from you. That's how little he respected his opinion. That's how little he cared about, you know, like begging people to change doesn't get them to change, you know? So, but when you become the best version of you, that changes them. You know, it's crazy how it works. You know, you would think that giving advice over and over does anything. It doesn't, you know, but when you become the change you want to see in this world and let that speak, that brings about change, man, that you wasn't even expecting, because all you was doing was working on yourself, and it had impact in areas that you had no idea, because you don't know who's looking at your life, who's observing, who's watching you grow, who's, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, my sister's on. Oh, what's up? Look, when someone shows up, it looks like that, and then you hit the wave button. What's up, Delenia? How you doing? What's going on? Yo, I owe you $500. Like, as soon as I can, I'm gonna send that to you. I just wanted to let you know, man. I haven't forgotten about that. And as soon as I'm able to, I got you. So yeah, man. So yeah, man, it's just a good feeling, man. Not to be because I didn't like where I was, man. I didn't like being that depressed. I didn't like being down all the time. And I didn't realize that, you know, my depression was like 99% probably 100. Yeah, it was 100% my fault. You know what I'm saying? Just perspective, man. And it took mentorship. It took for me to listen to videos and find people that have wisdom that I didn't have. And they were shedding light on things that I didn't realize is why I was messed up, you know? And so yeah, the crazy thing about life is you'll go to the doctor and they'll tell you that you have an irreversible psychological problem that you need a medicine for. And it's like, bruh, no. You know, because when I was depressed, all the pills in the world couldn't stop. Because like my depression came from me thinking that I need someone to love me, for me to be like lovable. Like, you know, I need one person to say it. You know, all the pills in the world doesn't take that away. It doesn't change my perspective. You know, that's why I get so mad at you know, all these psychiatric facilities that just give you pills and pills, but they won't counsel you. They won't tell you stuff that actually helps you, you know? Okay. And so yeah, man. Anyways, so that's it. That's pretty much what I gotta say. I don't know if you wanna, you know, if you wanna add anything, but or if you want to. It's my sister. You can say hi. Delenia.
Delenia. Hi, Delenia.
This is my roommate, by the way. Sorry, don't worry about that. Yeah. So
I'll pray I meet you soon, someday. I heard good things about you, though.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of these things that you're talking about, bro, is life changing. You know,
Yeah.
And how important perspective is,
Yeah.
and how powerful it is. You know,
It's
but
free, man.
yeah, but that life lived is, you know, for me,
Yeah.
it changed people. It changes people. You know, especially when they see the freedom. You know, when they see like, yo, he got free from himself.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I want this, you know? And bro, that's what Jesus came. That's his number one message.
Yeah.
He came to deliver us from us. Because if you think about it, every sin is self-centered, bro.
Yeah. All of them.
Everything. And every time you hurt somebody, it's self-centered, bro. Every single time. And a lot of times you living for yourself will get you all frustrated, will get you depressed. And it is. It's the fruit of it not going your way.
Yeah.
It's the fruit of you not getting what you want,
Yeah.
you know? But when, you know, when the Spirit of God comes, he delivers you from that, you know? And that's the best place to be, you know? Rather than in need of love, you become love.
Yeah.
You know? And you become a blessing to your environment, you know? Like Jesus said about the seed. He talks about a seed. Unless the seed goes into the ground and dies, it remains alone.
Yeah.
But if the seed will die, it opens up and it produces life. You see, I can't produce life. I can't give you life if it's all about me. Yeah. I can't produce anything if it's all about me. But as soon as I surrender that, about my will and my ways, not only is there a peace and a joy that comes, but you become a blessing to those around you. You know? And not only that, but that's God's will for your life, you know?
Because everything that God created, bro, in the practical sense, nothing is made for itself.
Yeah.
It all serves. It all serves. The trees give air, bro. You know, everything, so we can breathe. Like everything, bro. You know, besides man.
Yeah.
Man came in and it's like, yo, it's all about me. Watch out, bro. Get out of my way. Yo, give me this. Let me get that. I want this.
All right.
But, you know, and I was like that, you know, in and out of jail, bro. You know, trying to hustle, think I'm going to get rich and, you know, doing all these things, you know, that the world put in me, you know, and the world promotes it, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Music.
And if you're going to be all about you, be all about you in this type of way, you know? Like your spirit. Because the more that your spirit becomes about, you, you become a better individual for those around you. But if your flesh, like your natural, fleshly, carnal desires, is leading you, you know, you're gonna lead a path of destruction. Maybe not in a major sense, but in a small scale. If you look back in your life, every time that you were allowing motions and your own selfish desires to lead your life, if you look back, I guarantee you, there's destruction. There's broken relationships. There's hurt people that you've left behind because. You know,
Yeah, it wasn't about them. It was about what we could get out of them.
Right.
That's it.
Right. And you know, even if you just apply the word of God to your life in the practical sense, what Jesus teaches, you'll change the world. You'll change your environment. Yeah. You will. But Jesus said you have to die. You know, you have to surrender and let all these things go. And I'm not saying it's easy, especially for people that are going through depression. It's a battle, you know. I understand that, and it's also a battle we can't see. It's a spiritual battle. Doctors aren't teaching you these things, you know, but they're spiritual things, you know. Not everything is so practical.
And it's crazy how a doctor gives you a physical pill to try to handle a spiritual situation. It's like, bro. Right. You need spirit with spirit. Like,
and all it does is nullify it. And bro, I've been to Africa, I've been to Haiti, and I've seen devils manifest in people, bro. Yeah. And a lot of times you go to the doctors, they're going to diagnose you with something and then give you a pill.
Yeah.
But listen, when they get free, bro, they're free. They don't need no drugs. They don't need anything, you know?
Yeah.
Though they diagnosed me with things too growing up, bro. And then I believed I had that. Yeah. I became dependent on the medication. I started reading the word of God, started believing it. And then I'm like, you know, and then that seed, which is like a thought. And I'm like, yo, I really don't need this. I really don't. Then when you begin to believe that, bro, it's insane, the power of belief.
I threw my pills in the garbage.
Yeah, me too. I flushed them. I'm like, that's it. And bro, I'm good. You know, you go through with withdrawals because of your natural, your flesh is used to taking it. Yeah. But bro, you give that some time and you stop believing that you don't need this. And believe what God had said, bro. The power of belief is insane, bro. It's crazy the things that we are capable of, even in a natural sense, bro. The Navy SEALs, what they do.
Oh yeah, Hell Week.
Yeah, Hell Week. What they do is try to literally bypass your mind.
Yeah, it's dying. Can we go over here where my charger is? I'm gonna have to put it. Give me 1 second.
They bypass your mind, and then the possibilities that these soldiers accomplish is insane.
Wait, should I charge it over here or
wherever you want. Here.
Can you put that in?
It's crazy.
Appreciate it. You can sit there because like you're closer.
All right. But I feel like I should share this before we end it. Rob, thanks for letting me be a part of this.
Yeah, no problem, man. Anytime.
The goal settings. If you've been in like a cycle of just not being able to change, finding yourself in the same situation, write down some practical things, steps that you can do daily to change, and ask God to help you. And then work at these things, you know. Because God says that we are more than overcomers, you know. But at the same time, I mean, I used to box. You got to train. If you just step in the ring without no exercise, you know, within 2 minutes, you're going to be out of breath. You can't swing anymore. You can't do anything. You're going to get beat up. But listen, getting beat up is part of the process. You know what I'm saying? As long as you keep getting back in the ring, I'm telling you, listen, you'll change your environment, you'll change your world. And listen, there's nothing that you can do. There's nothing that's too far out.
Don't step in the ring and come to the conclusion that you're not meant to be a boxer. Like, you're not fully equipped to be one yet. You haven't trained, you haven't done a single push-up, and you think you're not. Of course, in your current state, you're not meant to box, but give your body some training and then let grace take you where it may, instead of your own limited belief system, because you're only saying things according to your own limited understanding. That's why, my least favorite word in the world is you have to be realistic. You have to be practical. The things I believe in, like, casting out devils, raising dead people, blind people seeing again, just laying hands on people and them healing. There's nothing practical about that.
Right.
There's nothing realistic about that. You know what I mean? And it's such a limited term. I hate it so much. And I hear it in daily conversations. You have to be realistic. You got to have a plan B in case plan A fails. It's like, you failed as soon as you created plan B. Like, what are you scared? Plan A is not going to work. Like, all Michael Jordan had was basketball. All Derek Jeter had was baseball. Like, these are everyone that we admire in the entertainment world, they were committed to their goals.
That's it, committed.
And they said, I'm going to make it. Of course, you got to have self-awareness. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't be that guy who thinks you're going to be a quarterback. You don't even know how to throw a spiral. Like, so self-awareness matters too, because there's people that pump themselves up to try to be something that they're just not capable of. But if you let grace take you where it may, you never know when you train your body to be capable that you might actually be really good at something. I'm sure there's some BMX people, there's some bikers, there's some you know what I mean, that they got good at doing things that they never would have imagined, and it was naturally clumsy at first until they trained that skill. So you got to let your potential, just try things, you know what I'm saying? And because even me, I used to steal rappers' rhymes, go to school, rap it as if I wrote it, and tell my friends, yeah, you like it? I wrote it. It wasn't me, but I didn't know that one day I'd be able to write my own stuff and be as good or better than some of the people I admire. I didn't know that until I let grace take me where it may and say, I'm going to try it. You know what I mean? So, and I just meet so many people that come to the conclusion that they're an anxiety-driven person, and it's always going to be that way. They're always going to be depressed. They were born weak. They were born, and it's like, no, you became that way. The world changed you into that, but it doesn't mean that that's where you're limited to or that you have to stay there. So you just got to you got to be disgusted with your situation, and then say, it has to be a better way. And then from that place, you will find a better way. You'll find the books. You'll find the mentors. You'll find, you know what I mean? Because like when your desire to change is strong, how you're going to change is not an issue anymore. People worry about resources. How am I going to do this? You figure it out. Trust me, when you want to. You stop thinking about, because your why, you have a strong why. When you have a strong why, how doesn't matter anymore.
Man.
You know what I mean? So
the why behind your life is key.
Yeah.
It is.
I don't know if you want to add anything, but I'm pretty much now. I was going to let my phone charge. But we could keep going if you want. Let me see. Well, my phone is at 7%. It's up to you.
I just want to add the why behind your life and belief. God said, without faith, it's impossible to believe to please God. So the whole faith side is whatever you're going through. If you're believing what you're going through, that's not faith. You gotta believe for better. You got to confess better over your life.
Yeah.
And this pleases God. God wants you to believe for a greater thing. Jesus said that to him who can believe, all things are possible. Bro, the word of God is real. But you see, if we don't believe it, it'll never be real in your life. You'll never receive it. I've seen God open up ears. I've seen people's pain leave their whole bodies. I've seen this. This thing is real. So just beginning to walk in faith, it's just, it's important, and it's a beautiful thing when you can get established in it. Because then come hell or high water, no, you're unshakable, you're unmovable.
Yeah, even this technology that we're broadcasting to you through, it exists because one man demanded, or a couple men demanded that it did. There was one time when all this electric stuff was not practical. Like, there was a time when a guy was like, I'm going to make electricity. You're going to flip a switch and light's going to come out the ceiling. No more lighting candles. And someone was like, get the heck out of here. We're going to be lighting candles forever. Like, airplanes was not practical. Like, our daily use of technology, all of it was unpractical. And someone would have told you, get the heck out of there. If you pitched them with that idea, they would have been like, there's no way. But it exists because a group of people demanded that it did. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why, like, this whole being realistic stuff, like, I understand, like, being practical and stuff, but at the same time, like, there's so many unpractical, it's not impractical, like I said, about laying hands on a sick person that's blind or deaf, and their ears opening up and them seeing again. Like, so don't think just because you've always been depressed that's how it has to be, and there's no room for change, and you're destined to be. Because if that's what you believe, then your life patterns will match that belief system, and then you're doomed for real because you believe you have to be, not because you have to be. You know what I mean? There's so many people that they believe a lie, and their lie that they believe becomes true to them, and they live out a lie, and they never discover the truth that they can change. They can, get out of their emotions, or not be frustrated all the time, or not want to kill somebody just because someone cut you off in traffic. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it's so many things are possible, but it just comes from disbelief. So,
Man.
yeah.
Man, so, and that, seemingly, I just want to add, that was good what you said about the electricity.
Yeah.
About,
Planes, man, like,
Yeah.
bro, before planes, people was like,
Right.
you gonna build that? No, you're not.
right, and same thing with fire.
Yeah.
Before there was a time when fire never existed, but you see, it always existed, but we just never experienced it.
Yeah.
Never knew it existed, bro. That's just like the kingdom of God, bro. It's here, bro. And then when you walk into it and you experience it, it's not that you have, you've made it or anything like that, but you've encountered it, you've discovered it.
You found something that you had no idea was already available.
Right. Right.
Then you wonder how long I've been walking in ignorance, not knowing these things. Like.
Right. It's crazy. Crazy, bro.
Alright, so I'm gonna let you guys go for now. And yeah, man, I'll see you on the next one. Take care.
God bless you guys.
Alright.